Welcome to Davos. A little later than we'd hoped, but actually the race just underway. And the seeded group, Sofia Blecour, is the first of the seeded group coming up to the first of our checkpoints on this 10,000-meter journey in classic stride and glide. Other racers in the past who've done rather well here. Well, historically, Virpi Koittinen of Finland, Elena Valby of Russia, they both have 4 distance victories to their credit. So Marit Bjørgen would be equaling them if she were to win today, and Kowalczyk on her way. Now, Justyna Kowalczyk at the moment, it's been not an auspicious start by her to the new World Cup season. Lies in 8th place, a couple of 4th place finishes, but now the race really getting underway in earnest and about to take her place in the start box will be Ingvild Flugstad-Ørsberg and then Heidi Weng. 50 here. This is Chekalaeva, who goes 1 minute before Ingvild Flugstad-Ørsberg. So still Anna Haag up the first 2 kilometers, the fastest of the racers at the moment in 5:27.4. But it'll be interesting to see what happens when Teresa gets going. Chekalaeva, 6th in the 10-kilometer classic race in Kuusamo, and has got some reasonably good form, I have to say. Chekalaeva lying 10th in the overall Wiesmann World Cup rankings coming into today's race. This is further on, second rotation here, and Anna Haag there, who was leading. Just having a look at 1 or 2 stats further down the track in the finish box. Just try to get there for you in a moment. Ørsberg about to start.
Olympic champion from Norway, bid number 52. She's one of the big names.
Well, here's the 4th best cross-country racer of the season so far. Multi-junior champion, but really has announced herself this season. Hasn't been worse than 7th in any of her race rankings, and finished 4th overall in the Lillehammer triple. Blecour, who was travelling a couple of seconds slower than Haag in the earlier part now. I'm just having a look at 7.8, and Anna Haag through there in 21:33.8, and that's almost 20 seconds ahead of Kilonen, 43 seconds ahead of Elizabeth Steven. Now Blecour at 5 kilometers was some 11 seconds down, and Blecour 13 seconds down, so hasn't lost too much. And relay Olympic bronze medalist Heidi Weng for Norway, and now moving up to the 2-kilometer point, Kerttu Niskanen. And Anna Haag very much our early pathfinder here, but Niskanen will not be too many seconds behind, as you can see. And that's not a bad start. 1.9. She goes into 2nd place now, and in fact 3rd place behind Anne Kilonen. And just a reminder for those of you who maybe don't know the significance of this board, this is the plastic board that all the racers sign on to commit to clean racing and all the anti-doping measures that their country and indeed internationally WADA require of them. Marit Bjørgen wearing that yellow bib. Teresa Johaug, though, is the leader in the distance rankings. 16. There's Ishida out on her second run, a second loop, I should say. She was 8 seconds down on Anna Haag. And just looking at half distance, Ishida had actually lost time. She tends to really enjoy the longer distance. That was Parmakovsky going through. And Teresa Johaug, the distance ranking leader of the World Cup, about to start. So the defending World Cup champion, she won in Finland in this discipline over this distance. Can she break the hold that Justyna Kowalczyk and also Marit Bjørgen have had over the last couple of seasons? Here comes the power of Justyna Kowalczyk coming up here, and 13 seconds absolutely demolishes Anna Haag's time, and the race is now seriously on. Marit Bjørgen last to start. Justyna Kowalczyk, 10-kilometer classic winner last season in Lillehammer in the early part of that season. She's won a classic sprint here, but now let's concentrate on Marit Bjørgen. 5 times a winner here, 3 times in distance races. 34 years of age, will be 35 next March, but has started in really dynamite form. But the battles already between Teresa Johaug and Marit Bjørgen have been terrific. I mean, last weekend in Lillehammer, what was it? It was 600ths to Teresa Johaug in the distance part of the Lillehammer triple. But it was Marit Bjørgen whose sprinting prowess really helped her in the last leg of the Lillehammer race, the 10-kilometer pursuit. She just got back there by 300ths. So Flugstad coming up here. Kowalczyk with a commanding advantage over Anna Haag and Kilonen. Anna Haag got on her way to the finish at the moment. Østberg, really gutsy and really tough, has a fantastic desire and will to win. 4.5 seconds. That's only 4.5 seconds behind Kowalczyk, and it puts her effectively 8 seconds ahead of Anna Haag and 9 seconds ahead of Anne Kilonen, who are closing towards the finish now as they run down to Davos. Now, just to talk a little bit about this race, because as they leave the stadium, they are climbing almost all the way to 2,500 meters. Then there's a little plateau on the top where they stay pretty steady to 3,500 for a kilometer, but from 3,500 it's virtually a fast descent, and Kilonen comes in there, and Kilonen at the finish of the race ahead at the moment of Anna Haag, but Anna Haag to still come home. Heidi Weng now, and Weng over and outside the time of Kowalczyk. Remember that Østberg was 4 seconds, 5 seconds outside, so she's slower than her teammate Heidi Weng, who's had 3 third-place finishes and a runners-up spot. That was in the 10-kilometer classic pursuit. So Heidi Weng's had an excellent start to the season as well. And 27 seconds, though, that is not good by any means. And that puts her outside the top 10. So maybe a question of skis now. Just looking for Anna Haag to come home. Marit Bjørgen, who last week was very conscious of the need to actually get an early cushion of advantage over Johaug. And here she is chasing 59. That's Aino Kaisa Saarinen, a former winner here in Davos, and 1.3 seconds behind Johaug. So battle is joined, everybody's on their way up the first part of the climb, but I remember there's another 500 meters of this climb to go. And that's the state of play at the moment. And Justyna Kowalczyk 4 seconds off, very much in the mix at this early stage. And then the gaps really open up here. So Johaug, Bjørgen, Kowalczyk, as you would expect, the bookies' favourites right there. And Anna Haag from Sofia Blekor, who's finished in second place at the moment, 9.3 seconds down. And just checking on Heidi Weng. Yeah, she was 52 seconds back at 5 kilometers, so she's made a tremendous burst in 2,700 meters. And Johaug now ahead of Kowalczyk, and 48 seconds. Now that is more than double the advantage she had over Kowalczyk at the half distance. I mean, astonishing. It's a combination of Johaug's skill and strength and engine, but you also have to take into account that Kowalczyk is struggling and has struggled. Kalle at 5,000 meters, 49 seconds behind Johaug. And again, that's in those 3 kilometers, kilometer 2 to kilometer 5, that deficit doubled, and Kalle at the moment nowhere near the podium. Just looking at 7,800 meters, 2.2 kilometers from home. Johaug 48 seconds ahead of Kowalczyk, 51 ahead of Niskanen, 54 ahead of Heidi Weng, who really has made progress in relation to Kowalczyk, but not so much to Johaug. And now Marit Bjørgen coming up to this check now. Marit Bjørgen, who was 11 seconds down at 5 kilometers, and you can see that Johaug has just gone away. It's a combination here of athletes losing time, but you can't take anything away from Teresa Johaug. She has absolutely stormed this 10 kilometers, and she can't, barring a fall, barring something silly, nothing can stop her from taking a second 10-kilometer classic victory here, this time in Davos at altitude. Ammonier for France home, and also there Kerttu Niskanen, and Niskanen into the lead by 8.6 seconds over Anna Haag, and that is a gain of 5 seconds in the last 2,200 meters. So she's really come down the hill back into Davos very, very effectively. So Kerttu Niskanen in the lead at the moment from Anna Haag. Sofia Blekor drops to 3rd place, and Kolonen of Finland to 4th. 3 Finns in the top 6 at the moment. But Kerttu Niskanen, this is a big boost for her. She's been going in the right direction. 26 years of age from Vuokatti. 10th in the 10-kilometer race in Kuusamo, so was always expected to be there or thereabouts. Now, Niskanen behind Kowalczyk, there was only 3 seconds between them, so there's every chance that Niskanen, who finishes fast, is going to get the better of Kowalczyk. She was 30-odd seconds behind Bjørgen. This is at 7,800 meters, and she was 51 seconds behind Johaug with 2,200 meters to go. But the way it's looking at the moment, it could be Niskanen might keep a place on the podium here. And just having a look at that, she was third in Oslo last season in the 30-kilometer classic. So I wonder whether she's going to get her second podium. Parmakovsky for Finland. And that's not a bad finish for her. Parmakovsky, a couple of years younger than Kerttu Niskanen. Just over 50 World Cup starts in her career, but looking for Kowalczyk, and here she comes, powering in on the inside there, the optimum line to save every precious fracture. And Kowalczyk outside the time of Niskanen, so as I predicted, Niskanen the quicker of the two, finishing there, and Kowalczyk in fourth place, not even on the podium. So Blekor's taken her scalp, Anna Haag's taken her scalp, and really it's all about Bjørgen and Theresa Johaug. So you can say that Niskanen definitely on the podium, I would say, in third place. That's the likely outcome. And Bjørgen, well, 20 seconds to make up in 2.2 kilometers. It isn't going to happen unless Johaug runs off the course or something bizarre like that. Well, this race has been totally dominated by the leader of the World Cup distance rankings, the defending World Cup champion. So this is going to be a points gain of at least 20 points over Marit Bjørgen. Marit Bjørgen started the day overall 519 points ahead of Theresa Johaug, who had 388 points, and then it was Heidi Weng. So the gap is surely going to come down to 111, but that still leaves Marit Bjørgen a full race ahead of Theresa Johaug in the overall. Čekalajeva never been particularly competitive right the way through this particular competition. Ishida of Japan still just in the top 10 in 9th place. Parmakovsky down to 10th place. But the Swedes here, they've got Blekor, Anna Haag in second, Blekor in third, Henriksson in sixth, and that's three who are going to stay in the top 10. Finns at the moment, they've got Niskanen in the top 10, Anna Kilonen, Laura Mononen, and Parmakovsky clinging on to 10th place. Østberg now. Østberg with 2,200 meters to go. She was 1 minute and 17 behind Johaug. At 5 kilometers, she was only 30 seconds behind. So she's lost a lot of time in the second rotation round here. Heidi Weng coming home. And Heidi Weng 22 seconds into fourth place behind Niskanen. That's a really good scalp for Kerttu Niskanen. So Weng was 1 minute 68 seconds behind Johaug and 48 behind Bjørgen. And here comes Theresa Johaug, and this has been remarkable. She has totally destroyed this field from the very start. First stride and glide and double pole. She has dominated this race, and 58.5 seconds. She comes home. She pushes Niskanen down to second place. Anna Haag in third is likely to be pushed off the podium by Marit Bjørgen. And she is a full 1 minute and 21 seconds ahead of Kowalczyk. It's an astonishing performance here by Theresa Johaug, who clearly is in absolutely fantastic shape. 26, she really, at the age of 26, is in the height of her powers. silver and bronze individual medals at the Sochi Olympics, of course, for her. And the world champion in Val di Fiemme over 10 kilometers in freestyle, the sort of distance that Charlotte Kaller favors, but Charlotte Kaller eclipsed completely today. By my reckoning, that's victory number 8 for Therese Johaug. And she, of course, won the 10-kilometer classic in Kuusamo. And just Marit Bjørgen to come home now. Now, Marit, just to say, at 2 kilometers, she's 1.3 seconds behind Johaug. At 5 kilometers, Marit Bjørgen was 11 seconds behind Johaug. At 7.8 kilometers, she was 20.7 seconds behind Johaug. And now you can see that even that has extended, and she's coming into second place to collect 80 World Cup points. But this has been Therese Johaug's day. She has beaten Marit Bjørgen by 42.5 seconds. Niskanen in third place gets an excellent podium, 58.5. Anna Haag is the best for Sweden, ahead of teammate Sofia Blecour. Both of them over a minute behind. Anna Haag a minute and 7, but that's a good race from an early start number. Sofia Blecour 1:16. Heidi Weng top 10 again, 6th place 1:21. Kowalczyk 1:21 also off the pace in 7th place. Anne Kolonen 1:23 back in 8th place. Sophia Henriksson in the top 10 in 1:23 her deficit, 1:28 I beg your pardon. And Laura Mononen top 10 1:36.8 there. So 2 Norwegians at the top, 3 in the top 10, but Finland with 3 in the top 10 and Sweden with also 3 in the top 10. But there it is, Therese Johaug, and she has blown her rivals away today. 42.5 the advantage, and Saarinen, a former winner here, well, will she do what she so often has done, find her best form by February when we come to the Nordic Ski World Championships in Sweden? So she narrows the gap between Marit Bjørgen in the overall rankings, and she, in the distance rankings, enhances her advantage. But there you have this confirmation, and you can see there that she was just in a completely different division of classic cross-country skiing to everybody else today. Shida, not a bad race down in 12th place there, and plenty of American interest in the top 30 as well, who all get World Cup points. Natalie von Sieventhal getting 1 point for finishing in 30th place. Niskanen, terrific job there, and that will give her a huge confidence boost. A long way to go to catch the likes of Marit Bjørgen and Therese Johaug, but the Finn will be really delighted to be the best for her country. Marit Bjørgen, well, it would have been nice if we could have had the 2 Norwegians together to get Marit's Bjørgen of the race, Marit's view of the race. We'll try and catch up with that and bring you some response from her before or during the men's race. But this morning, no doubt, belongs to just one person. In stature, the smallest, but in performance, the very best. Therese Johaug. Time for us to momentarily take our leave from Davos. For myself, David Goldstrom and the Nordic team, thanks for watching.